Okay, to get started, we're going to first of all have a look at OneDrive. Now, OneDrive can be accessed in lots of different places. So I have OneDrive installed onto my PC as a folder entity. So I'm going to give you examples on a couple of ways that you can access OneDrive. So the first way that you can access OneDrive is through your web browser. It's probably best for us to use Microsoft Edge. So I'm going to click into Microsoft Edge now. And as you can see, I'm logged in. You can see my little face at the top here. I'm logged into Microsoft Edge, but that's through my personal account. Now, what I want to be able to do is access my OneDrive through my business account. So, I mean, the easiest way to do that is for us to search Microsoft OneDrive or search for a Microsoft account. Some of you might already have your account set up on your PC. So it might be that you just literally go to your account and you access your account that way. But just so that people can see what to do throughout the whole process, I'm just going to do it as if I've never logged in before. So as you can see, I have Googled Microsoft 365 before, so I'm going to pop into that, and it's going to bring up a web page, which is the login. I'm going to click on the login Microsoft 365, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign into my account. So I'm just going to get rid of the pop-up for cookies. So I'm just going to accept those cookies as part of that. And then over here, I mean, you've got two places. You can either sign in the middle down here, or you can sign in at the top up here. I'm going to click on the sign in option at the top there. And then it's going to give me a couple of options. Because I use this PC quite a lot, it's giving me a couple of options on what I'd like to sign in with. So like I said, I'm going to sign in with my business account. So I'm going to go to Dan at switchdirection.co.uk. Pop my details in, and because I've logged into this account already on this PC, or because it's part of my my infrastructure, it'll automatically log me in anyway. Now, what can happen is that if you haven't logged in before, you'd need to enter your email address, and then you'd need to enter in your password, which is the password that you would normally log in with in the morning onto your PC. They're usually the same now, especially if you're using Microsoft as a product throughout your organization. So once you're logged in, it'll actually take you to kind of your home page for Microsoft. Now, on your home page, you have some sort of quick access options. So these are usually the ones that you use the most. There is obviously an apps function there as well. I find it easier going up to these ellipsis buttons at the top and then actually clicking on those, and it gives you access to all the different functionalities and all the different apps that you've got available. So I'm going to click on OneDrive. And when I've clicked on OneDrive, it will automatically take me to my OneDrive account. So it's just loading up now. And you can see that I've got a number of different documents that are accessible to me. If you're not used to using cloud storage, I'm just going to kind of run you through some of the different functionalities and some of the things that you'll see on the left-hand side and the changes that it makes on the right-hand side for you. So obviously, like I said, I'm on my home tab here. I'm logged in as me. I'm on my home tab. And actually on your home tab, what you do is you get to see all the kind of the most recent documents that you've been working on. So recently I opened up a customer service presentation, handling challenging customers. There's lots of different things. I was finding a particular course, and I was working on a couple of courses for a client. And then down at the bottom here, it just gives you access to different things as well. So you've got quite a few different documents that I've had access to. Now, what you can do, you can actually filter some of those things as well. So you can filter them by Word, you can filter them by Excel and by PowerPoint. So actually, if you're looking for a specific file, instead of having to troll through lots of different kind of locations and trying to remember where you saved something, if you've opened it recently, it will go into, and you know what the functionality is, what the app is, then actually you can actually just click on some of these and it'll open up that document for you, even PDFs as well, which is quite handy. So you can see there that you've got a nice array on your homepage where you can actually find different things. Now, what I've also got on the left-hand side is I've got my files. So this takes me to my folders. So these are like my folders that you would normally find on your PC. If you were to use it like a local network drive, you would actually find these folders on like your shared folder system. OneDrive works in a very similar way. So you have you can create your own folders, you can create your own documents, you can store documents within there. So for example, if I was to click on my kind of course overviews folder, for example, you can see there that I've got a couple of different folders in there. Some of these ones I've put to bed, that's why there's lots of these. And I've also got done as well. So these are ones that I've updated recently or I've put online. And if I click into there, you can see I've got all my Word documents lined up there, and you can see when I've updated them and who they've been modified by as well. So if I just do a quick click onto one, what will happen is that that document will open for you, and it will open up as part of the web browser, because most Microsoft elements come with a web browser option. And you can actually then see it starts bringing everything into the forefront for you. But you can see there that you can open up documents really easy, and you can find documents quite nicely as well. Now, if I wanted to go back to like the previous files, instead of me having to kind of click the back button, I can actually use these little biscuit trails here. And if I go back to my files, you can see it takes me straight back to the beginning again, where I can see all my folders and elements there. If I go to the left-hand side again, what you can also see is you've got an element called shared. Now, this is for documents that have been shared with you. So these are documents that could have been shared with you either inside your organization or from outside of the organization. And again, Microsoft OneDrive will actually tell you that as well, which is quite nice. So I've got a couple of documents here which were shared with I shared in Teams. I've got a document here which is a video that I created, which is on the portal that you guys are on. I've got Lisa, who's opened a document, who works within my organization. And then there's a couple of documents here from local colleges and contacts that I've had that have come from outside the organization as well. So again, it's making your documents easy to find and making those documents kind of accessible to you and through the OneDrive system online. And again, at the top, you've got certain things. So it's certain things that's been, these are documents that have been shared with me. And these are documents here that have been shared by me as well. So there's documents that I can actually go into. So if I'm a bit unsure about where what the last document was that I shared, or you know, who I shared it with, I can actually go in and actually have a look at those documents as well. Now, equally, like before, you can actually share, you can actually look at the shared documents or shared folders by selecting the different applications as well. So you've got your, you know, folder, you've got your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and PDFs. So again, Microsoft OneDrive is there to make it really easy and accessible for you to find your documents without having to go through lots of folder training. Now, on the left-hand side again, you've then got your favorites options as well. So favorites are there. They're kind of like your pinned options when you're in Word. So these are documents that you go to again and again and again, and you can highlight those as favorites by using a star option. So it's a bit like a web browser. So if you're on a web browser, you can star a document and it'll actually put it to your bookmarks bar. In this instance, if you're going back to the same document, or you're working on a particular document and you've been working on it for a period of time, then actually you can then go to you can create a star element there, and that will either add it to your favorites or remove it to your favorites. So as you can see, this is a bit of an ongoing document for me. It's an overview document. I think it's part of my business plan, so I kind of update it and look at it quite frequently. Okay, so on your favorites tab, just below that, you've then got your recycle bin. Now, your recycle bin is where all of the rubbish goes. This is where anything that you decide that you don't need anymore goes into there. Normally with the recycle bin for OneDrive, you have up to 60 days. So anything will stay in there it will stay in there for 60 days. And if you haven't accessed it or kind of you know, brought it back into the ether, it will just disappear after 60 days. So there's a nice knowledge there, knowing that your documents are safe, and actually you don't have to go in and kind of delete that history. It will automatically delete for you, which is really, really nice. Obviously, you can empty it as well. You can click on the empty recycle bin option, and that will just delete it all out for you too. Now, a couple of other things which are quite good with Microsoft OneDrive is that you can browse files by people and by meetings. So obviously, in some meetings, you can have attachments. So you can actually search for the meeting and then find the attachments that way as well. But with people, it will just show you kind of what specific things have been sent over to you by specific people. So in this instance, I've got an overview document that Lisa sent to me. There's a couple of things that have come from an accountant's here. I've got a couple of things from the college. I've got a couple of elements here from the theatre company. And then likewise, like I said, in the meetings, there's a particular meeting that might have an attachment to it. So I have a Teams meeting that I did a online Excel session on the 26th of June. And actually that was part of a meeting invite. So that kind of attachment is still there so that people can access it, that recording. A couple of other things down on the left-hand side here are just things that relate back to SharePoint. SharePoint sites, and kind of any other places that you have availability to. So here are some of the SharePoint sites that I've created that some of my clients use. And also at the very bottom here, you've got your storage and how much of that storage you're using. So normally with OneDrive, you get up to 1 terabyte of data. So that's kind of a bit of an overview to OneDrive for you. So again, OneDrive can be accessed by downloading an app onto your PC, which makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just going to talk you through the app. So you've got an example of where you would find that and how you could use it. So I'm just going to minimize that for a second. And then I'm just going to pop you down to my little yellow folder here, which takes me to my PC and all the documents that are stored within my PC. And if I just pop that open, you can see that already on the left-hand side here, I've got access to my Home tab, which again, like on OneDrive Online, it's giving me access to all the recent documents that I've had open. You can just see it updating. There's also access to my personal drive there, and there's also access to my switch direction drive here. Now, if I click on my switch direction drive, you can see that all of my folders are accessible to me. And these are all coming from the cloud. They're all stored in OneDrive. It just means I have accessibility to them just via my PC, rather than having to log into the cloud each time. So it makes it a little bit easier. Now, to do that, it's quite straightforward. If you wanted to download OneDrive for Business, you can just go onto your OneDrive. So if I just pop back to here, you can actually go to your settings tab, and it will give you the option to kind of download, like it says, get the OneDrive apps. And what I should be able to do now is I should be able to just download my OneDrive element there. So you just click on the download option, and then it will just say, right, would you like to download OneDrive? So you download OneDrive and you follow the installation process, and that will then install OneDrive for Business onto your account. Once it's downloaded, you'll just need to log into the account as well. So if I just show you an example of that, just going to download that for you now. So you can see it's just downloading at the top. And what will then happen is it will ask me to open a file. It'll start opening up OneDrive and taking me through that installation process. Okay, so I've logged into OneDrive, and you can see now that OneDrive is now open on my PC. I just pop that there, and you can see that I've got access to all of my documents as per the online system. I can go into each of those areas now. So if I just pop down into course overviews again, you can see I've got exactly the same details. I've got done, I've got the ones I put to bed. Click on done. And I think we access the customer service overview. I can access the customer service overview, and that will pop open onto the PC. I'm just going to put it over, it's on another screen. There we are, so that's now opened up. And you see, because it's opened up in the application, I've now got access to the headers and footers as well. So you can see that all of the documentation is there. So with Google Chrome, you log into your account, you log into the browser with your account, but you can also log into a number of different accounts using Google Chrome as well. So you can see I've got a couple of different accounts down here. I'm actually in the right account, which is great. So again, like Microsoft, you have these little ellipsis buttons here. And if I click on those ellipsis buttons, it takes me down to all the apps that are available through the Google product. I'm going to click on Google Drive, because that's where all the documents are saved. So this is the equivalent to OneDrive, but through Google. I'm going to click on Google Drive, and that will open up my drive for me. So I've got it set up so it instinctively just takes me to files. But I can change that a bit like Microsoft OneDrive. So if I just wanted to look at the folders available to me, then I can just click on the folders there, and you can see I've got a number of different folders that are available to me. Now, unlike OneDrive, you do get a little bit of limited space. This is your home page, and with your home page, it just gives you access to the most recent documents that you've opened. So recently, I've opened up apprenticeship portal. My colleague has shared some pull-up banners with me, so I've actually opened up those. Lots of different documents there that you can access, or recent ones. You can actually look at folders that you've accessed recently as well. So again, you can kind of toggle between the two. You can search by particular people. So if I just wanted to look at things that people have shared with me, a particular person, I can click on that particular person, so no one, Lynn hasn't shared anything with me in that particular instance. I can get rid of that, or I can share it by location as well. So like where I think it's saved. So I can go into my drive and I can look at all the documents in my drive, or I can look at things that have been shared with me, or I could look at, files that have been shared with me in that instance. So, you know, there's lots of different elements that you can search there. You can actually kind of really kind of work Google Drive to search those elements. And Google's kind of renowned for its searching capabilities as well. So you've got accessibility to all of those kind of searching elements there. To turn them off, you can just kind of toggle between the two. So just turn off all those sharing parameters, otherwise I'll get a bit confused a bit later. You can also look at your activity. So it just says like this is kind of what's been going on within your Google area. I don't have anything in my activity. For me, I use Google Drive as a area for me to create sites to do a little bit of storage for clients that use Google as well. You've also got access to workspaces as well. I do have some workspaces, but I've actually hidden those away because they're not kind of particular ones that I'm working on at the moment. And then the main thing here is my drives. And again, I can actually, access all of this information here. A bit like OneDrive, you can create documents which are focused on documents. So it's a bit like Word. You've got Google Sheets, which is like Microsoft Excel. You've got Google Slides, which is the equivalent to presentations or PowerPoint. And then you've got other elements as well. You've got like Google Forms and lots of different kind of applications. I use Google Sites quite a lot because I use it as a communication tool between myself and organizations. You can create new folders. You can upload a whole folder if you want to move something from Microsoft to Google and you want to upload all of the documents within a particular folder. You can upload the whole folder, which is the folder upload, or you can update or upload one particular file as well. And again, that's really quite straightforward. You can either drag and drop into the space that you want it, or you can go away and you can select the file in that sense. So you can search your PC to look for a file. So just to show you an example, I've got an image here. So let's just upload that image there. We'll see where that goes. It's beginning to upload down here at the bottom, and you can see that's now uploaded and it's gone straight into my drive, and I should be able to go and find it. Yep, there we are. That's the image there. Now what you can do is you can toggle between, I've got it in list view here, but you can actually have it in preview as well if you like. So that gives you some insight into there's the image that I uploaded there, and you'll see the Kesgrave. And then again, all your folders kind of look more like folders. Right, okay, so again, down here, you've got documents that could have been shared with you. So these are documents that have been shared, documents that you recently accessed as well. So again, you can see a few documents here that have recently been accessed. Documents that you've starred, which are kind of starred files. I don't tend to use starred files in Drive. I've kind of used a recent activity to help me kind of search for the documents that I need. And again, you've got things like spam, and then you've got your bin as well. So there's not anything in the bin at the moment because again, like Microsoft, it does empty after 30 days. So it's slightly shorter. So as long as you catch that document that you've accidentally deleted within that 30-day period, then obviously you'll be able to reclaim that document back as well. Again, it automatically deletes, so you don't have to worry about deleting anything. It'll just do it itself. It will then talk a little bit about storage. And the good thing about this, I find, is that it tells you what are your biggest elements. So for me, I use Drive, Gmail, and I don't tend to use photos. But here it's telling me that in my Drive, I've got 4.47 gigabytes worth of data. In my Gmail, I've got 174.9 megabytes of data. So actually, you can see it gives you a nice breakdown. So it means that you can kind of really keep tabs on where your Google Drive data is as well. You can also download a copy of Drive onto your PC. So like we did with Microsoft, where you've got a folder and you can access all your documents via the folder, you can actually do that with Drive as well. So I'm just going to show you how to do that. So again, you click on the settings cog at the top there. And if you go down to Get Drive for Desktop, you can download that drive. It'll ask you to download Drive for Desktop. Now it's just downloading that at the top there for me on my Chrome browser. So that should have downloaded. So I'm just going to click on the downloads and I'm just going to click on the setup icon. And that's just going to do a couple of things. So what's happened now is that it's added the application to me. You get the option here. It says add an application shortcut to your desktop. I don't really particularly like things on the desktop, so I'm not going to tick that one. And it says add desktop shortcuts to Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides as well. So what it can do is it can actually give you access to like the docs, the sheets, and the slides directly as well. But again, I don't want that. I'm just going to untick that. So I'm going to install the Drive folder onto my computer. So I'll just let that install for a second. It should be quite quick. And it's now telling me that Google Drive is installed successfully. I'm just going to click the launch button. What that will do is that will open up Google Drive for me. It's just a bit of a welcome element there. So I'm just going to click through some of that. I'm just going to sign into my account. Okay, so it's just asking me what account I'd like to sign in with. I'm just going to click on sign in and I'm now all done. So I'm just going to minimize that so we can go back to the Drive application so we can see what's happening. So it's just setting up my Google Drive for me. It's giving me a bit of insight. So it's telling me that I can explore files in the File Explorer. It will sync my documents for me. And obviously I can back up photos if I have any. So I'm just going to click on next to those. It's telling me that you can make things available offline as well. So everything will be online unless you make it offline. So what that means is that when you make changes offline, those documents will automatically be updated as they are on there. Sometimes with Google, it's a little bit different to Microsoft. So if you're not on an internet connection and you haven't made your files available offline, then you won't be able to make changes to those documents. It won't allow you to open up the documents. So it's one of the best things to do is making your documents available offline so that when you're working outside of an internet provision, that you actually can still access those documents. And then again, those documents then automatically get synced or updated as and when you kind of find an internet connection again. So I'm going to select that because that's quite important to me. I'm going to click on next. And then it's now saying like choose if you want to sync any folders on your computer, if you want to add any of those folders. I don't particularly want to in this instance, but if you did, you could click on you just click on the little toggle box next to it. But I'm not going to, I'm just going to skip that. I'm going to do the same there. I don't want any videos or pictures. Just going to skip that option. And now it's saying that I'm all set up. So I can click on Open Drive. It's now saying that everything is updated and I've got activity options and things there. So what should happen now is if I go into my folder, my little yellow folder like I did before, you can now see that I've got a Google Drive folder as well, which has just appeared. So there we are, Google Drive. So if I click on my Google Drive folder, I can now click on my drive at the top and I can access all of those different folder elements there as if I was online. At the minute, I'm online, so it's good. So I can access the documents. So if I just double click on like course overviews, it's telling me that I've got all the documents there. What will likely happen if I click on one of these, it will automatically open up a web browser because I'm only accessing my documents through a web browser with Google Drive. So let's have a go at that. So it's saying, how would you like to open that up? So I'm going to open it up in Google Drive. Just about always select that one. It's now opening it up for me. And then it's now opened up that document for me. So it's taken me directly to the web browser and it's now opened up the document for me. Yeah, so to make things available offline on your PC, now you've downloaded the Google Drive app, to go down to the actual Google Drive element and click on the kind of little downward arrow and then go to My Drive, because actually, obviously, we don't want access to Google Drive offline. What we want to do is access anything in our drive as offline as well. So you click on My Drive and you right click on that. If you go to Show More Options, there's an option up here which says offline access. So if you look at that, at the minute, it's telling me that anything in this folder in my drive is only available online. So that means that if I'm outside of the internet and I don't have access to any internet at all, I'm not going to be able to access any of my documents. Whereas actually, if you click it to available offline, What will now happen is that all of your documents will also be available to you when you're not on the internet. They'll still open in a browser, but what will happen is that it will actually cache onto your browser. And then actually when you finish with that document, you'll close it down and then it will sync back into the cloud again. Now, it might be that you don't want your whole drive and being offline, which is absolutely fine. You might not want that. You might not want people to, you might lose your PC and you don't want people to access any of your documents, which is part of the security that Google Drive has in there. What you can do is you can just specifically make one particular document offline as well. So again, you've got an option when you go to File, you've got an option which says Make Available Offline there, and you can make it available offline, and it says Turn it on for that file. So it's reload to allow offline editing. So just click reload. And what will happen now is that that will now be available to me to edit in an offline capacity. And it means that when I do get back onto the internet, it will automatically upload those documents.